Okay, we're going to give this a try. Before you lie down,
What are we trying?
except for yours already set up, take your first blanket, unfold it so that the
I only have one.
edges are nice and neat, and then refold it so that it is thin and long, and place it longwise on your mat towards the top where you're going to put your head. And then take this second blanket and put it across the very top of the first blanket, and you can move that one, scrunch it around any way you want, under your neck and head, once you're lying down.
Can we lay down now, please?
And no. Come to a seated position.
You want us to lay on it?
And have your bottom, the sacrum, this bony part right back here in your lower back, 1 fist's distance from the folded.
Horizontal.
Oh, this is really going to go well today. Blanket. So you have a little bit of distance because you want your whole bottom on the mat.
Oh, okay.
And a lot of you have done this already, so it's going to be familiar, but some of you obviously have not. Take your hands so that they're on either side of the blanket. Lift your chest, round your shoulders around a little bit. What's wrong?
Just tearing up and coming.
And slowly come down onto the blanket with your spine along the blanket. And then find that other blanket that's supposed to be under your head and make your head comfortable. So some of you may not need a blanket under your head at all. Just be quiet, okay? Lie down, good night. And others may want to like roll the blanket a little bit or stuff it under their necks, or just do whatever makes your head comfortable. Your knees can remain bent, or you can extend your legs long on the ground. That will create a little bit more of a stretch in your hip flexors if your legs are straight. And open your arms out wide to the side in a T. And we're just going to have everybody do this pose today. Sometimes I give you different options, but we'll just stay low today, and that way nobody will injure their backs, hopefully. So this is a restorative pose in yoga, and it's a back bend. So slow down the breath. Feel the easy inhalation and exhalation. This is a wonderful pose to do at bedtime, in bed, on your mattress. And you can use any blankets that you want. Just to get a little lift of the spine will create a stretching of the chest muscles and the muscles that connect with the shoulders. If your legs are extended, as I said, it moves all the way down to your hip flexors. If you want to feel a little bit more of a stretch, you can bring your arms a little bit higher, either straight out from your shoulders or even a little tiny bit out of V. At some point, your arms will probably run into that blanket. But you don't have to have the arms higher if it doesn't feel good. Just try to have the palms facing up. And notice that more than likely you're feeling the breath come primarily into your chest, because that's the part that is most available for air at this point. The rest of the belly, if your legs are extended, the belly and the ribs are pretty tight and stretched. So feel the rise and the fall of the chest. Try to relax the neck. Try to relax the backs of the shoulders as much as possible. Of course, relax the jaw. Draw the attention to the ribs and see if you can make them come wide to the side on the inhale, or invite them, and contract inwards on the exhale. And finally, see about the belly. See if you can inhale, making the belly rise more, and exhale and feel it deflate or press down towards the spine. Return to a normal breath for your body. And straighten the legs unless it is very uncomfortable for your lower back. And have the feet relatively close together and with the toes facing up towards the sky. So flexed feet. Bring both arms straight up over your heart so that the fingertips are pointing straight up to the sky. Elbows are straight. If that's okay with your shoulders and arms, and if having your elbows straight doesn't work, then just do the best you can. Obviously, if it doesn't work at all, you'll just want to imagine this. Rotate your arms out of the shoulder socket so that the palms are facing your face, and if you open your eyes, you can actually see the palms like a book. Little fingers are touching, outsides of the hands are together. Little fingers only, like a book. So it looks like this, if you can do it. The whole outside of the hand touches. You're not the only one.
I was reading.
Yes, you were. Well, you followed my instructions. That my instructions were just not 100% clear. So you want the whole outside of your hand and finger to be touching, the thumbs facing out. And we're going to open our arms out to the side slowly so that the thumbs just hover above the ground. And if this gets too hard, the first thing you're going to do is bend your knees and do it. So slowly open the arms out to the count of 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and have your arms just above the ground, and lengthen the elbows if you can, feeling the shoulder blades drawing together in the back. They kind of press into the blanket. Contract your core, bringing all of the muscles in towards the ribs and then in towards the spine, and raise your arms back up so that the little fingers are touching. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now we're going to keep our elbows straight, the outsides of our hands touching, and bring our palms towards overhead. They're not going to touch the ground. So lowering the arms down overhead, and maybe your shoulders won't allow too much movement, and maybe your shoulders will allow you to bring your arms pretty close to at least the blanket overhead. And then raise up again using your core muscles to support your spine. I'll count 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and they're right over the heart now. And now we're going to lower the backs of the hands towards our pubic bone, or towards the tops of our legs, downwards. 8, 7, 6, 5. Keep the hands together. Hands are touching. 4, 3, 2. It's towards the pubic bone. You don't have to touch the pubic bone. I think the ribs are in the way. So it's going to look like tie your wrists together. Tie your wrists together. That's as good. That's you're on tape. And raise the arms back up. Release your arms down for a minute. Gosh. There's always one. Okay, bring your arms back up over the heart center and rotate your arms out of the shoulder socket so that your whole hand, one hand is touching the other, like you're clapping. Okay, everybody got that? Right. Open your arms out wide to the side to the count of 8 until the outsides of your hands are just barely touching the ground or above the ground. And I'm at about 4 now. 3, 2, 1, because I was talking so much. And having your arms hang out to the side and not rest on the ground is quite challenging. They are heavy, and you're going to need to start contracting your core to support the weight of your arms. And as we bring them back together, the same way that they were, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and touch the palms together. Bring your arms overhead so that the thumbs are coming towards the top of your head. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. However close to the ground you can go, and mine aren't anywhere near the ground, so I'm not expecting you to touch the ground. They get heavy, and you need to start using your core in order to support the weight of the arms. Slowly bring them back up. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Right over your heart, and then lower them down sort of towards your legs. 8, 7, 6, 5. And I realize that your upper arms run into body parts. That's the time to stop. When you can't go anymore, stop. Bring the arms back up. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and upright. Rotate your arms a quarter of a turn so that you're looking at the back of the book. Your index finger and your thumb are touching. The whole inside of your hand is touching. And bring your index fingers together. Attach the rest of your fingers to your index finger. Just put your hands together. Okay, and open your arms up so that the little finger can come to the ground. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and hover. Feel the core. Have a sense that your navel is like a sea anemone and you're bringing all of the body parts in towards your navel when you poke your navel, so that your pubic bone comes up, your ribs come down, and the two outsides of your body, your ribs, come in towards the navel, and then raise your arms up. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Have your hands touching on the inside of your hands and bring them overhead. Maybe 8 is too many, too much count. Just bring them overhead slowly. Feel the rotation of the shoulders. And again, if it's too much, don't go down so far. Slowly bring them back up to center, right over your heart. And then lower them all the way down towards your legs, or not all the way down, just as far as they'll go. And then raise them up again towards center. The whole time that we're doing this, although it's an arm exercise, we're looking at our core. Rotate your arms one more time so that the backs of the hands are touching. The wrists are touching, the fingers are touching. It feels awkward because it's an internal rotation of the arms. Slowly open them out wide so that the palms are coming down towards the ground. Just go slowly, I won't count now. Focus on your core. About halfway down, the arms get heavy and the core needs to kick in. Hold it there for a breath or two. And slowly bring the arms back up so that the backs of the hands are touching from the wrist to the fingertips, if that's possible. Maybe you have a limitation there that I am not aware of. When the backs of the hands are touching, bring them upwards towards the head, overhead, but the elbows remain straight. And it might be that you just have to pause, hang on to that for a minute, and then come back up. Sometimes if you pause, then you have a little bit more range of motion, so try that. Go downwards, just as far as your body will allow you to go. And then raise the arms back up. And release the arms gently alongside the body. Bend the knees. Place the feet on the ground. And roll to one side, removing the blankets. And remove them somewhere as far out of the way as you can get them. Great. And come back down on the back. Finding the feet behind the sitting bones with the heels near the sitting bones. We'll begin pelvic rocks, so pressing the arch of the lower back towards the ground and then lifting it up away from the ground. So for some of us, pressing towards the ground is really easy. Just continue that. And for some of us, lifting it away from the ground is really easy. And maybe it's easy both ways. But usually we have a preference because of the way our body is built. Either we have a natural curve in our lower backs or we have a natural curve in the opposite direction. But whichever way it is the most difficult, see if you can spend just a little bit more time in that position. So if it's harder to press the arch of the back towards the ground, hold it there a little bit longer. And if it's harder to lift the arch of the back away from the ground, just hold it a little bit more. You don't have to do an extreme. Moving our lower backs up and down from the ground creates a rocking motion in our pelvis, so that when the lower back is lifted away from the ground, the tailbone is aiming towards the ground, And as the arch of the lower back is towards the ground, our tailbone is lifted away from the ground. Inhale and exhale with the movement. And relax. Walk the feet to the outside edges of the mat. Let the arms be a little bit wider. And begin to wag the knees gently side to side. Just let them move freely, but start small. And then you can move to a wider wag. This is called windshield wipers. Make sure you're breathing. Let the knees come over as far as they want to in each direction. It doesn't have to be pretty. This is just the first movements that we're doing with our hips today, warming them up. And bring the knees upright. Walk the feet in just a tiny bit away from the edges of the mat, and then bring your left leg all the way over to the ground, the outside of your left leg. Keep the knees bent, but the outside of the left leg rests on the ground. And you can roll over to the left side as much as you need to so that the outside of the left leg is relaxed. And then press into your right foot, the standing foot, the foot that has the knee up towards the sky. And as you press into the right foot, you'll notice that your right buttock starts to contract. And then if you keep pressing into your right foot and contracting your right buttock, you'll notice that your hamstrings are contracting and your lower back is contracting. And if you keep that up, you'll notice that the back of your right shoulder is contracting. If you still keep up contracting, you might find that your head starts rolling to the right, and that's all good. You're in a half of a back bend here. When you're contracting the back side of your body, you're stretching the front side of your body. So you're getting a nice stretch from your knee, through your hip, ribs, all the way up through your shoulder and maybe even your arm. If you bring your right arm up a little bit, you'll feel the stretch more. Breathe deeply into the ribs. And slowly upright your knees and come back into a neutral position on your back. And wag your knees gently side to side a little bit. And then upright both knees and open your right leg out to the side so the whole outside of your leg rests on the ground, and you can roll to the right if you need to. Your left foot is flat on the ground and your left knee is pretty much up towards the sky. Press into your left foot and you'll begin the contraction. It's, for me anyway, it actually starts at your leg, but you feel it mostly in your buttocks as it lifts up high. And then you can really feel it in your hamstring and your ribs. And if you continue to lift your ribs up at an angle, your shoulder will kind of round around backwards, your arm might round around, and maybe your head rolls to the left. So here we are again in our half back bend, stretching the front body. It's a pretty good stretch of the quadriceps, the hip flexors, and the ribs. And slowly come back down, uprighting the knees. The head comes up. Bring the arms alongside the body. Readjust your feet so they're comfortable. And begin peeling the spine off of the ground one vertebra at a time into a bridge. So most of the weight is either on your feet or your shoulders. There is some weight on your head. Try to keep your chin down so that you're not hurting your neck. Slowly round back down, one vertebra at a time. And relax. And then lift up again into another bridge. You can bring your arms overhead onto the ground behind you if you would like, or you don't have to. Lifting the hips and the arms at the same time, and then lowering back down, trying to time the arms with the pelvis landing on the ground. And then repeat that 3 more times. Inhaling in one direction and exhaling in the other. Noticing which is your preferred way to breathe. Are you more inclined to breathe as you lift your buttocks up or bring it down? 2 more. And on the next bridge, stay up there. Bring the arms only down, keeping the buttocks up. Walk your fingertips a little bit more towards your heels if you can. That brings your shoulder blades in a little bit more and gives you some more stability. Come up on your tippy toes. It might cause a cramp, and if it causes a cramp, just release down. Lower your heels back down and see if you can lift just your toes up off of the ground, balancing on your heels. And then repeat that. So coming up on your toes, you can just release it for a second if you get a cramp. And then reverse again onto your heels, lifting your toes up off of the ground. Your bottom will come down. You can't stay as high. Lower the feet down and then roll down. So now you're flat on your back. Cross your right ankle on top of your left thigh, just below the left knee or above the left knee, and flex your right foot. Bring your left knee in more towards your chest, lifting the foot up off of the ground. This is figure 4 pose. You can stay here just pressing your left knee into your right ankle, or you can reach your arms through and around your left thigh, interlacing your fingers behind the left thigh. So the right hand would go between the 2 legs and the left hand goes around, and you're circling your left leg. You have the option of straightening your left leg if you want. That's a real figure 4. You can even imagine the shape of the 4. Try to relax your shoulders onto the ground and use the strength of your left leg or the hands wrapped around the leg to pull it in more towards your chest. And when you do that, you get a greater stretch in your right hip. And breathe. Soften the jaw. Again, try to relax the shoulders as much as possible. If your left leg is straight, bend the knee, and then everybody bring their left foot down onto the ground, but keep your leg crossed. Open your arms out wide to the side and twist to the left, bringing the outside of the left leg onto the ground and the right foot towards or onto the ground. You can just roll over as far as you need to. Try to have your right knee facing up towards the sky a little bit. What do you need to do to get it up there? Can you use the gluteus medius muscle to help draw it straight up? Bring both knees up again and unscramble your legs so that both feet are on the ground. and cross your left ankle on top of your right thigh, flexing the left foot. You want to keep that foot flexed the whole time. Bring your right knee in towards your chest. You can use just the strength of pressing the right knee into the left ankle if you want, or you can wrap your hands around the back of your right thigh. You can stay here, or you can straighten your leg. It's the same effect. Or you can move from straight to bent to straight to bent slowly. Breathe. And slowly lower the right foot down onto the mat. Open the arms out wide to the side and bring the outside of the right leg to the mat, twisting to the right. Left foot hopefully can reach the ground, or maybe it can be up in the air too if that's your limit. See if you can invite your left knee to aim up towards the sky, using either your gluteus medius muscle or your hand pressing to the inside of your left thigh. Right hand presses to the inside of your left thigh. And then upright your right knee and unscramble your legs. With the feet behind the sitting bones and the knees aimed up towards the sky, bring your arms alongside the body. Spread your fingers wide and your palms are down on the ground. Hands are like starfish and the thumbs are under your buttocks. Have your elbows straight. Contract your core, front and back, starting with the pelvic floor, through the lower abdominals, around the navel, all the way up to the ribs on the front, but also the back. It's little tiny muscles on the interior of your body as well as the big external muscles. See if you can lift your right foot up off of the ground 1/4 of an inch, no more. Less is okay until just maybe you'll feel the skin still on the ground, but you are lifting your foot, or just a little bit higher. And then lower it down, and then do the left foot just a tiny bit. And lower it down. Now we're going to try to lift both feet at the same time, just barely off the ground. Try to relax your neck. Use your core to hold the feet up off of the ground. Breathe, but try to hold this as long as you can, using the core muscles. Just keep inviting those deep, deep muscles in your belly and your ribs to hug in towards the spine so that they can do the work that they're created to do. Lower the feet down and lift up into a bridge, stretching the muscles that we just contracted. And lower down. And we're going to repeat that again. If having both feet up off of the ground at the same time is too much for you, try just one foot at a time and alternate at your own pace. Otherwise, go ahead and lift your feet up off of the ground. Pause. Take a break if and when you need it, but otherwise, just use those core muscles. Find more and more core muscles way down deep. This is the same kind of stance that you would try to have if somebody was going to punch you in the stomach. It wouldn't hurt nearly as much if you use your core muscles. And release the feet down onto the ground. This time release your hands and lift up into a bridge, bringing the arms overhead onto the ground behind you. Get a nice stretch in your belly. And lower down. Raise one foot at a time up towards the sky, keeping the knees as straight as possible. Flex the feet. Point the toes, both feet at the same time, up towards the sky. Flex and point, flex and point, flex and point, flex and point. Couple more times. Use your core. If you need support, you can put a little blanket under your bottom if it's hard to keep your legs straight up. Do some circles with your ankles, rotating the toes around the ankles. And then in the other direction. Use your core. Bring the knees into the chest for a moment and rock side to side. Raise the legs back up towards the sky. Flex the feet and open the legs wide into a V. Bend and straighten the knees a little bit. Each time we bend and straighten, we give the hamstrings a little bit more opportunity to stretch. It's also a really nice contraction for your quadriceps. Bring the feet slowly together again. Slowly, 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 slowly. Point the toes, open the legs wide into a V. Relax your shoulders, take a break if you need it. Otherwise, slowly bring the legs back together again. Make sure you're breathing. We'll do one more set, so flex the feet, open the legs wide. Again, take a break if you need it. Hold it out there for a minute and slowly bring the legs back together. Relax your neck. Don't let your neck be arching away from the ground too much. Point the toe, and open the legs out wide. This is the last one. Slowly bring the legs back together again. Bend the knees and place the feet on the ground behind the sitting bones. Extend the legs long on the ground. Flex the feet and have the feet as wide as the outside edges of the mat. Bring the arms overhead into a V so the elbows are about at the outside edges of the mat. And contract your core. So when I'm in this position, my lower back lifts away from the ground. Maybe not everybody's does, but I don't want that big, big arch in my lower back. I want to support my spine by using the muscles in my front ribs to press them down towards the ground a little bit. You might have the opposite problem, and in which case you might want to lift your lower back. Raise your right foot and your left hand towards each other, somewhere over your torso. They may touch, they probably won't. Slowly lower them down. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and hover. Slowly bring them back up. Make sure you're using your core to support the weight of the leg and the arm coming up towards each other. The slower you go, the harder it is, but the more muscle you're going to build. Slowly lower it down. So we're working the diagonal muscles now between the hip and the shoulder. Hover just above the ground. Press your lower back towards the ground if it's peeling away. And lift up one more time using your core muscles. And then lower down. So if you're trying to increase the strength of your hip flexor muscles along with your core muscles, this is an excellent way to do it. It's an excellent exercise. Anything where you have to lift your legs up, go ahead and relax for a minute. Anytime that you have to lift your legs up in an awkward way, difficult, challenging way, then you're working probably your hip flexors as well as your core muscles. Now we're going to do the left leg and the right arm, so slowly bring them up towards the center of your torso using your core muscles. And slowly lower down. The whole time focusing on the core. And then hover just above the ground. And slowly bring them back up again. You can relax your left arm. And lower them down just as slowly or even slower than I'm going. It's much easier to go faster because you're using the momentum rather than just your muscles. Hover and then come back up one last time. And slowly lower down. And relax. Lower the arms down alongside the body and flip over onto your bellies, preferably so that you can see me. If you've been coming to classes before, then that's not too big a deal. But if you haven't come to very many classes, it helps to be able to see what's going on. Yeah, even if you have been coming to class. So be resting on your forearms with the wrists straight out from your elbows, the palms flat on the ground and the fingers wide. Press strong into your elbows and feel the shoulders far away from the ears. And then just for a minute, so that you know what you're not doing, let the shoulders come up around the ears, because this is what happens when we get tired, and we don't want that to happen. We want to keep pressing strong into our elbows so the shoulders stay far away from the ears. So go ahead and do that, and that's going to stretch the muscles that we were just working when we were lifting our leg and arms towards each other. If it hurts your lower back, if it's too much of an arch, have a sense that you're pressing your pubic bone down towards the ground a little bit, contract your buttocks a little bit, and lift your navel up a little bit towards the back body. So this is almost like being in a plank pose if you're contracting your belly right now. And then relax your forehead down onto the backs of your hands. Stack your hands. Bring your arms around so that the palms are alongside your body, palms facing down. Look down towards the ground, but your head can be just slightly off the ground if you want it there. And spread your legs wide. Lift up into a locust pose. The shoulders, the head, the arms, and the legs are all off the ground, reaching the fingertips towards the feet. As you come down, bring your feet together and bring your arms out to the side, out from your shoulders in a T. So we kind of look like a cross here. Feet pressed together is harder. Spread your legs wide and bring your arms close to your body again. On the inhale, the chest lifts up. Exhale, lower the chest and bring the arms out to the side and bring your feet together. Inhale as you lift, bringing the arms down to the side and spreading the legs wide. Exhale, bring the arms out wide and hug the feet together. A couple more times. Inhale. And exhale, bring the feet together, arms out to a T. Inhale, lift. Exhale, bring the feet together, arms out wide. See if it's possible to circle the arms up overhead as if you were flying through the sky. And then bend the elbows, rest your forehead on the backs of your hands, lower your feet, and relax. Bring your fingers so that they're under your shoulders The thumbs could maybe tickle your armpits. Round your shoulders around, slide the shoulder blades down the back, and hug the elbows in towards your ribs. Lift the chest only, don't put any pressure in your hands, and you're in cobra pose. The feet can stay on the ground if that's possible, otherwise they can come off, but traditionally they stay on the ground. Lower the chest down, take a breath, and lift the chest up again. This is using your back muscles. Aim your elbows towards your feet. Hug your elbows in towards your ribs and put some weight into your hands. Unstraighten your elbows, or straighten your elbows, maybe an inch. Keep your shoulders down away from your ears. Keep your elbows hugged in. For me anyway, that helps your shoulders, protects your shoulders to keep your elbows in. So here we are working our biceps and triceps. You can just lift a little bit and then lower a little bit like you're doing itty bitty push-ups, but if it hurts your shoulder, don't do that. And then press up and back into child's pose or puppy pose. So child's pose, your buttocks would be resting on your heels, and puppy pose, your buttocks is over your knees. Either way, your chest can be down lower and relax down. Come up into tabletop. If you want a blanket under your knees, just grab one of those blankets that I had you put far away. I would recommend a blanket because if you don't have trouble with your knees, you will if you don't use a blanket. Believe me. Wrecked mine. Let's do a few cat-cows. So turning the tailbone down towards the ground, feel the backs of the ribs lift up towards the sky as your shoulders round around, down, and your head drops. And then lift the tailbone up, the ribs drop down towards the ground, you round your shoulders around, open the chest up, and lift the chin. And move through that a couple more times at your own rate. Breathing when your belly is dropped and your chest is open. Inhale. Exhale as you tuck your pelvis downwards and create a crunch. And then come to center. Wag your tail from side to side and look at it. So wag your tail to the right and look to the right, feeling the contraction of the right ribs. And then through center and over to the left, looking at your buttocks with your head. Moving back and forth like that, feeling the contraction of the ribs. This is a side bend. One more time on each side. And come to center. We're going to put all of our weight into the left hand and twist to the right as we lift our right arm up. And then thread that arm between your left arm and your left leg, coming down towards your shoulder or on your shoulder, it doesn't matter. And then immediately go into another twist, lifting the right arm up on the inhale and bringing it down and through on the exhale. Straighten your left elbow as you lift your right arm up to the sky. And thread it between the left side. And come back up into tabletop. And do the other side. So all the weight is on the right hand and the two knees, lifting the left arm up and lowering down. You bend your right elbow in order to make that happen. And lift it up again, just 3 times. Inhale as you lift your arm. Exhale as you thread it through. And come back onto all fours. Extend your right leg back and check your left hip and make sure that it is not aiming out towards the side, but that it's in alignment between your knee and your shoulder. And then lift your right leg up as high as your hip. Bring your right leg over to the right and look at your right foot. And then touch the ground. And then lift the right leg up and swing it back through center and look to the left as you bring the foot to the left, crossing your leg over the back. Touch the ground if you can. And repeat that several more times. Inhaling through center and exhaling as you come to one side. Inhaling through center and exhaling as you come to the other side. One more set. And come back into tabletop. Just sit back for a second. Get some weight off of those wrists. Shake them out, circle them, do whatever you need to do. And then return back to tabletop and we'll do the other side. So extending the left leg back and checking your right hip to make sure that it is pretty much in alignment. Lift the left leg and bring it out to the side and put it down, looking at it. And then lift it up and bring it all the way around back, crossing over to the other side, touching the toe to the ground on the other side. Watching it when you can. I'm not asking you to turn your head all the way around. And do it 3 times. And then bring it to center. Turn your toes under and come to standing. You can come through downward facing dog if you want, or just come to standing any way that your body will allow you to come to standing today. Slowly move upwards. Removing the blankets. We're going to take our chair. Actually, let's turn it so that the back side is facing us first. I think we can do it that way, yeah. And hold on to it just lightly with your left hand. The goal is to not lean on it, because once you're leaning on it, then you lose the opportunity to work the muscles that we're trying to work. So if it's too low for you, I think my husband sometimes puts a block on it. But not now? Okay. You don't know yet. So with this hand just free, raise your right knee up and straighten the leg and bend it and lower it, raise it, straighten it, bend it and lower it, raise it, straighten it, bend it and lower it. 4, I guess. 5, try to keep your chest lifted. 6, 7, 8, and hold it there. And do little pulses. 8, 7, 6, 5. Try to lean into your leg rather than backwards. 2 and 1. And relax. I think we can just do the other side right here. No, let's not. Step back with your left foot and come down onto your left knee with the right knee bent, and you can just hang on to this chair. Wrong side, Sherry. Oh well. Lean forward so that you feel a stretch in the back of the hip flexor on the left side. Feel it? Feel the stretch through here? Through
Yes.
the leg? Yes, 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 yes. And it also should be stretching your quadricep.
Oh, okay. I was going to say my quadriceps
Yeah.
in nature.
And then
Yes,
release.
ooh.
That was what I wanted to do. And then come up
Good.
and change sides. lift the left knee and straighten it and lower it and straighten it and lower it. I just stretched the wrong side, that's all. Very confusing. Very confused because I haven't done this one before. 5, 6, 7, 8, and hold it out there and do 8 pulses. 8, 7, 6, 5, lean into your leg, 3, 2, and 1, and relax. So what happens, it's way easier to lift your leg if your back is like way back here. So that's why I say lean into your leg. Okay. And may as well do the wrong leg on this side too. Brilliant, Sherry. Come down on your right knee, left knee is bent, and just stretch. It's a great idea, I just didn't do it right. Change sides, and we'll do it right. And raise the arm of the leg that's back. And you can do this without the chair, like this if you want. And relax. May as well do the other side one more time so that we're evenly awkward. I'm going to throw this video away. This was my practice video.
This video is going by.
Yeah. And when you feel like you've sufficiently stretched, come back up. Move the chair to the side again so that you can hang on to it if you want to. We'll do a balancing pose or two. Let's cross our right foot over the left foot so that the ankles are kind of touching. And then press into your standing leg. Make it long and strong out of your hip. Let the spine float up to the sky. Okay. Then we're going to, if you are not going to hang on to the chair, bend your left elbow and place it in front of your face. Otherwise, you're just going to have to skip the arms. And wrap the other one down and under. And if you can touch your palms, that's great. And if you can't, then you can make fists with your hands. You can stay here, or you can bend your standing knee a little bit, sending your buttocks out back. You can stay here, or you can lift the right foot up off of the ground and make it a true balancing pose. Or you can wrap your legs around one another into eagle pose, which some people may find that it's easier to get into it another way, but that gives the people options. Wherever you are, if your arms are crossed, raise the arms up and lower the elbows down and release. And we'll change sides. So crossing the left leg in front of the right so that the ankles are touching and one toe is on the ground will give you a nice firm base so that maybe you can let go of the chair, maybe not. You can also do this if you want, placing both feet flat on the ground. Take your right arm, bend it in front, wrap your left arm down and around. Maybe the hands will touch, maybe you just need to make fists, that's okay. Bend the standing knee if you want. Take your free foot up off the ground if you want, and or wrap. And the lower you want to come, the more challenging the pose. And slowly release. Shake things out.
I can't do
That's okay. Could have taken it on the chair as well. Okay, one more thing, and then we have to stop for the day. So standing on your left foot, put your right foot directly in front so that the heel of the front foot is touching the toe of the back foot, and balance. Notice if your weight is more on the back foot or the front foot. And wherever it is, change it. Challenge yourself to put the weight on the other foot. And then see if you can put it on both feet. Just very slowly remove the back foot to the front. And try balancing there. Notice your core. Notice that the pose gets a lot easier if you use a little bit of the core. If and when you're there, go ahead and shift the weight to, like, oh shoot, either the back or the front foot, whatever area you didn't have the weight on, and then try both feet together evenly, and then step forward with the back foot. And then take your front foot and step back. It requires not only balance, but proprioception, to know where to put the toes so that they touch at the heels without being able to see. Try it again. And relax, and come down onto the ground in a seated position. Set up for shade if you need shade for Shavasana. We'll just do boat pose, or a form of boat pose. So resting both hands with the fingers towards the feet, if that's okay. If that doesn't work for your wrists, you can turn your hands in the other direction. Lean back a little bit, but keep the chest raised and the shoulder blades towards each other in the back. And raise just the right leg so that the two thighs maybe are parallel. And then raise the left arm. Lower it all down and move to the other side, raising the left leg and the right arm, keeping the chest up. Breathe. Lower down. Change sides. Lower down. Change sides. Lower down, change sides, and down, and change sides. Lower everything down and round down onto your backs. Bringing the knees into the chest, hugging them if that feels good. Just hug them down towards the chest. Rock side to side. Open the arms out wide. And we'll just do a little twist over to the left. Bring the knees over however far is comfortable for you. A lot of people like to end their practice with a twist. One at a time, bring the knees up through center and over to the other side. And up to center. Move into your happy baby pose. So bring the knees in towards the ribs, resting the hands either on the underside of the thighs, bringing the knees down more, or raising your arms up to the outsides of your feet so that you can grab onto them with your hands. And then rock side to side into happy baby pose. Raise your feet up towards the sky. Have your arms raised up towards the sky, but gently, so the wrists are floppy and the elbows are floppy. The knees are soft. Shake everything out. Shake your hips too. Maybe circle your feet and knees as if you're riding a tricycle. And then go in the other direction. You know how your knees would come way up by your armpits if you're in a little tiny tricycle. And then relax the feet down onto the ground, arms alongside the body. Lift up into one final bridge. Slowly round down. Bring the ankles together, feet together, and open the knees wide into butterfly pose. And rock your pelvis if your lower back feels ouchy. And relax into butterfly pose for a breath or two. Nice, long, deep, slow breaths. Slide the right ankle along the ground, straightening the right leg. Slide the left ankle along the ground, straightening the left leg. Internally rotate the legs so that the toes are touching towards each other. Externally rotate the legs so the toes are away. And repeat that a number of times, slowly at first, but then you can go pretty fast if you want, kind of wagging your toes side to side. If the knees are bent, you can do it relatively fast. And then let that go. Tap the backs of your knees on the ground, one at a time, alternately, really fast. Tap, 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 tap. And relax the legs totally. Give yourself a hug and rock from shoulder blade to shoulder blade. It's not too big a movement, but it requires that you recruit some muscles internally because you're not using your arms. You're recruiting a little bit different muscles. Open your arms out wide and re-hug yourself with the other arm on top. Same thing, rock side to side. The little muscles along your back that are helping you rock. Let the arms open and come down alongside the body. Open and shut your jaw several times. Bring it, make it loose, make it soft. If you'd like, you can make some circles with your jaw. Or slide it side to side or forwards and backwards. Release that. Do some soft, slow, gentle micro movements with your head, releasing any remaining tension in your neck, so you can either rock your head side to side or up and down. Just follow your own intuition and let that tell you what needs to be done. And slowly settle into the ground. Feel the bones are heavy as you release any last small remaining pockets of tension. Deepen the breath. energy that's flowing through your body. Perhaps a sense of well-being, of peace, of harmony, joy, or any other positive emotions that you might be feeling. And in gratitude for all that we have here today, let's just send out vibrations of those feelings that you have within you to share with others so that this practice might be of benefit to all. Deepen the breath. Feel the small movements of the body with the breath. And increase the movements, moving your fingers and your toes, wrists and ankles, arms and legs, ribs, neck, head. And when you're ready, you can bend your knees and roll to one side. Coming to sitting position, using the strength of your arms or in any way that you want. Finding the hands in prayer position at heart center or resting the hands on your thighs, whichever feels better to you. You can sit in a chair for this if you want. We're going to join together in 3 final ohms, sending out additional, or you can stay lying down. 3 additional ohms, sending out vibrations and prayers and thoughts of peace and harmony and well-being to all those in need around our world. Let's inhale deeply. Exhale completely. And inhale again. Inhale deeply. And inhale deeply. The light and the love within me recognizes and honors the light and the love within you. Namaste.
Namaste.
Thank you, thank you, thank you so much for sharing the practice today. It's great having you all.
I get natural shade with the palm
I was gonna
trees.
say,
Yeah.
I've never had shaded this,
It's-
right,
it's
you, and
nice
now I
to
have
be-
shade.
it's
This is the
natural shade
perfect
with
spot
palm trees.
for
I think it's a good
Shavasana.
place to be.
I like that.
Yep.
It's a good way to start the day.
It's a very good way to start the day. Whew.
Oh, yeah, it
Fun.
was,
This is interesting.
I liked
Conversation.
That was for you, babe.
This is great. That was a really.
You were asking about the hip flexors,
Oh,
so.
thanks.
Same
You know,
one.
it was such a really
I guess they're both the
good.
same.
Yeah, which one was that?
Well, I like.